It's BrickFair. I need some coffee. Here we are at BrickFair Virginia. Hi, everyone. We have a very long line to get in, but people are excited. People are pumped, ready to go. See some Lego. Hey, are you guys ready to see some Lego Masters?
Oh, yeah.
We got about half of season 1, half of season 2 in there. Yeah. Atlanta Brick Co. Yeah. Check us out. We're in the back left corner. We got plenty of stuff for you. What are you guys most excited to see? Everything. We got great ball contraptions. We got huge mocks. They got a battleship that's from here to that sign over there. It's amazing in there. That's awesome. Look at this. This line just keeps going and going and going. Wow. Who likes Bionicle? Hey, oh, what? This just keeps going and going. So we're at the Dulles Expo Hall. What? I knew people liked Lego, but man, that is awesome. So Saturday is over. This was a crazy day. It was open from 10 till 5 to the public, and it was non-stop. They said it was much worse. This was nothing compared to what it was in previous years, but I never left the booth. None of us got lunch ever. I thought I'd be able to walk around and take some videos of stuff, but I never got a chance. I just stayed and helped at the booth and sold some stuff. So I'm trying to get video of things I missed. It's me, Mario. Look at that. These are huge. That is, I mean, there's my hand to give you a guide of how ginormous these are. Oh my goodness. Pikachu. Look at that. Mjolnir. Or as it's often referred to as Meow Meow. Whoa. Look at this. We've got some kinetic models here. I love this one. The skier. How do you figure that out? That is awesome. This guy isn't running right now, but he's a fixture. And the magician, ta-da! Awesome. We have this one in the store currently. We are sitting here with Christopher from Bricker Builds. And if you don't know him, you'll know his work. He builds these amazing, massive creations. First of all, welcome. Thank you for sitting on our show with us.
Thanks so much. Good to be here.
All right, so we just survived our first public day at BrickFair Virginia. How was it for you?
It was crazy. We've been here for a few days checking out all the AFOL builds. They are absolutely incredible. It's just such an honor to be here this is our first year being out at a convention. So it's really great to see all these incredible builds and meet these great people. So it's been fun.
So you said you were on your feet a lot today, but you survived, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's good to be sitting down for a video.
Yes, finally. So how long have you been building in this scale?
I actually started fairly recently. So in college I wrote a software called Bricker. It's kind of where this Bricker Builds name started from. And so the software converts 3D models into life-size Lego sculptures. And so that's where the start for a lot of this, the idea came about. Is I was actually running a stop motion YouTube channel. I've always been a Lego fan, so I was doing Ninjago videos and Star Wars videos, and I would make massive, expansive landscapes in my software and use them to not only create these massive landscapes, but also animated effects like you would see in the Lego movies. And so you could do explosions, waterfalls, stuff like that. So I wanted to generate some of my favorite models just in massive scale, and at the time, I published them on Instagram. So I've got a helmet I can show you later. It's the very first one we designed. It was a 330-second helmet. I called it life-sized. looking back, it was about 3 times too large, but
Big head stormtrooper.
yes, exactly. So it was awesome making that and putting it up on Instagram, but the coolest part was how incredible the response was. And after I saw all the comments and the support, I really wanted to get started doing more of these, and took off from there.
So I'm curious, did you go to school for software engineering? Is that what did you get a degree in that, or how did that go about?
Yes, actually I did. I went to school for computer science digital media at a school called Taylor University. It's a very small school in the cornfields of Indiana, but it's got a great computer science program, and so I've been taking advantage of that for my full-time job, and I'm also using that skill as I'm running this business.
That is awesome. Do you have other creators working with you, or are you the sole creator on these?
Yeah, great question. So sitting behind me is a nice assortment of creators. So Darth Vader sitting right here. That one I worked on with Dave Holder. He's a Australian Lego designer, and he works on the Lego Masters show. He does an absolutely phenomenal job. For a sculpture like Darth Vader, I would run it through my software, take some sculpting tools and painting tools that I've made, and tweak it and make it look as accurate to Darth Vader as I can. And then from there, I'll send it over to Dave, and he'll give some critiques. We'll go through a couple rounds of revisions. One of the big things that we revised with Darth Vader was making the parts a lot more efficient, the parts usage. And for Darth Vader, he's got this massive dome on top of his head and this big bust coming down, just using a lot of brick and plate. And so one of the things we did is we simplified the dome and the base of the bust to be just bricks. And it stands out from a lot of our other builds that way. And where we get the detail is in the face and the mask of the build, and that's where we get the plating and all that. Anyways, so Dave will give some great insight into that. And then for models like Pikachu and Evee back here, and actually Mario as well, Dave takes the reins on those, and he'll design it. He's got his own process. It's excellent. So yeah, it's been awesome collaborating with other creators.
This is amazing to me. I'm learning so much here, how much Lego designers like yourself and Jen from Lego Master Season 2, how you guys use computer software to design. I mean, people have always used Stud.io, but I mean they're actually using it to come up with shapes. Like Jen will use it, she'll use it, and there's programs that pixelate things for you.
Yes.
And that's how she decides, okay, this color's here, because the computer figures that out for her, and then she makes it in real life and then adjusts it if her artist's eye tells her to. And I assume your process is very similar, it sounds like.
Yes. So it's very nice that we have the software to get the creative process to be very creative and very much of like you're going through revisions and iterations without having to completely deconstruct something you've built and reconstruct to get, if you've got a massive Darth Vader sculpture and you've built it and you want to change something in the mask, well, you've got to take apart the whole thing. You've got to insert bricks here and there, and then you got to figure out how to recombine the whole thing. The nice thing on the computer, especially when you're working with a software like BrickFair, where you're sculpting with paint, almost like sculpting tools like a chisel and all that, and you're cutting away bricks and adding bricks and painting different colors on, it's a very creative process that allows for very quick design.
That's amazing. That blows my mind. Do you have a favorite? We're going to show you all this. He's going to take us through and actually let us touch it and hold it and stuff, but do you have a favorite?
So I have 2 favorites. I have a favorite of mine that I've designed and a favorite of Dave's. So my favorite model that I designed in my software, BrickFair, is Commander Cody, and I'm sure we'll show that in just a minute. He's right over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I really like the shaping. I like the color choices. Obviously, color choices, I should say. I like the color usage throughout the build, and I just really like how it turned out. So, and then for Dave Holder's models, he does some amazing models back there. I think that Mario is an absolute standout, and as we're seeing all the public coming around, they can't get enough of Mario. So
that is amazing. Yeah, and that's another thing that's blowing me away being here. All these builds that I've seen online, I now get to, like this one kept popping up whenever I looked at amazing Lego builds, and now I'm sitting here with the guy that made it. It's blowing my mind, man. Can a normal person out there get their hands on one of these, and if so, how do they do it?
That is a great question. We run a website called BrickFair Builds. You can find us on Instagram. Is probably the easiest way to get started. We'll publish videos showing how we design that. We'll publish speed builds where you can watch us build all these in, I almost said real time, in very much not real time. That would be a very long video.
Very long.
But yeah, so you can watch those videos and then you can head over to our website, brickfairbuilds.com, and we actually have instructions for every single build that's on this table. And so you can build them yourself, and we'll put parts list files in the downloadable files as well, so you can pop those into BrickLink and you can find the parts that you need, whether you go through BrickLink or websites like BrickOwl or Lego.com for Pick-a-Brick or anything like that.
Or if you want to order from the Atlanta Brick Co., we might have a few.
Yes, in fact, we've been relying on you guys for a couple of these builds when we need to rush something through. You guys are great.
So you told me you guys actually did a limited run of actual kits where you guys ordered the bricks and had the instructions and everything together. And the Mario without the mushroom sold out immediately, right?
Yes, it did. It was very, very quick. We weren't expecting anything like that, honestly. The support was amazing. The turnout was crazy because we can't match the prices of BrickLink. And I mean, we're sourcing the bricks ourselves. We're sorting them through a supplier in Canada, and so it was just amazing that people were the convenience of it, I think, was worth it to people, and that was blew us away. It was amazing.
Anyone who's tried to order a lot of pieces on BrickLink, like you said, the convenience is almost worth paying the larger price for it. So let's turn this camera around and get you a close-up look. He's going to take us through. He's got a Captain America shield that you can actually hold. He's got a Mjolnir that you can actually swing around gently, but you can swing it around. This is amazing stuff. So let me stop talking and let you see it. Here are the amazing builds. Take us through them.
You bet. Okay. So the very first model that we designed is sitting right here. It's the 332nd Trooper. This is inspired after the Clone Wars Season 7 finale. Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters, and so this was a very fitting model to start with. This is the one that we posted on Instagram before we even had an Instagram account called BrickFair Builds, my stop motion account actually. I wanted to start with this one to show you what the software does really before much tweaking. So this is tweaked to an extent, but this is essentially what the software will output right off the gate. And so we'll pull in a model that has, some nice shaping. We'll paint these orange details onto the 3D reference model. And then we'll run through my software, and that kind of generates this really nice looking spherical shape. It gets all the details worked out of how to use all these bricks to make it structurally sound. I mean, if I were to pick this up, you'll see it's quite sturdy.
Wow. Okay, can we see what's underneath?
Absolutely. So
is that a secret? Is that a trade secret?
No, not at all. So under this one is quite unremarkable. This is the very first iteration, so we had just completely plated off the bottom, which is a very bad idea. And so we have changed the process since then.
Why is that a bad idea? Could you explain that to me?
Absolutely. So we make instructions, and so we want these to be buildable by everyone. And so obviously, with a lot of experience, all of these you can overcome all of these issues. But the main issue that comes with this is, even though this model is hollow, since we've plated off the bottom, you can't get a hand underneath, especially when you get up to the top of the dome, to be pushing this down and have a hand under it to be pushing counterforce with.
Got it. Okay. But it's hollow mostly.
It is hollow. You can kind of tell if I knock it. But yeah, it is hollow, but the plating on the bottom, we'll get to a model very soon that has a more updated version of the underside, so it'll be interesting to see. This one is Darth Vader. This is one of our more recent ones. We came out with this on May the 4th. A fitting day. And so this one was designed originally in BrickFair, it was sculpted in BrickFair, and then of course Dave and I collaborated to add some of these details on the grill. You'll see some nice shaping with some non-bricks and plates, some interesting parts there. And then, yeah, so this one as well is hollow on the inside. I can't take this apart actually because this was glued to be transported here. But I can show you kind of a 360 view. And I mentioned this earlier, but this is entirely bricks for the dome here, you'll see, and for this base. It's all bricks exclusively. There's no plates being used because this is the way to make it the cheapest that we can. But then as you get to the front and the mask details, I don't know if this will show up on the video, but it's actually using a lot of plates to capture the shapes of the mask as you get closer to the parts that really draw your eye.
I love the trans red on the eyes, that little bit of detail, and it's so subtle.
Yeah, actually, so this is trans black bricks, and then we've hidden red bricks behind it, and that's what gives it just a tiny little hue.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, that looks good.
Next, we've got the 501st Clone Trooper. This one actually came before Darth Vader, so this was our second iteration. This came out in, let's see, I believe it was January of 2021. And so I can show you the underside, and right away you'll see the difference. So this has a completely hollow underside, which means you can get a hand inside to adjust any bricks that might fall off, or if you need to push up on bricks as you push down from the top, you can do that as well. Other than that, it's fairly similar to the 332nd, and so I can show you what's next. So something else we've been doing quite a lot is to release half-scale helmets, and so for Commander Cody, we just shrunk it down. And the nice thing about the way that we designed the models, once we've designed the reference model for this larger Commander Cody helmet, we can just scale that model down and rerun the software, and it'll spit out something fairly usable right off the bat. And of course, there'll be little things like there's the orange patterns around the, I don't know what they are, the breathing marks, but little things like that we'll need to tweak to make sure that it's using sometimes the pixelated look of what's captured from an actual reference model, even though it's the most accurate thing that the code can find, it's not necessarily the most
aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly, aesthetically pleasing, or even like sometimes you have to kind of take some creative liberties to make it feel like what the original would look like.
That's again, that amazes me how much the software helps you in designing it, because you just say, scale down by 50%, and it does it for you. Yes, you have to go back and tweak it, but how much that automated process helps you, that is amazing, and it cuts your time, I'm sure, by loads.
Absolutely. The interesting thing is my design process is very coding centric. I'm honestly, especially for these earlier models, I would say 75% of my time while I'm designing is spent writing code as I go. And I'll think of something that I want to do, like, I really want to just take this tool and go inside of the model and see inside and be sculpting there. And all I need to do is hop into my code, adjust some things, maybe add a feature or two, and then hop back into design. So this is Cody. I mentioned this is my favorite model. We ran this through the software, and this is pretty much how it turned out, more or less. Of course, we have to pick which Lego colors look best according to how the helmet appears in the movies. This is based on the Episode 3 Commander Cody, and it's got some fun little details, just little accents here. So it's got the antennas on the two sides, and this model was actually glued by a local Atlanta resident, James Nunnally. So he did an excellent job. I can pick it up from right here, and it's going to be just fine.
Don't do that at home, kids.
Okay.
What do we got here?
So this is a DC-17. This is the trusty blaster of Captain Rex, one of my favorite characters. And this was designed by an excellent designer, also from Australia. His name is Louis Meany. And he has designed a lot of Star Wars props in the past. He's very talented. And so we came to him, and he gave us this absolutely incredible model. And so one of the things that I love about this is how many interesting techniques he's fit into this tiny little build. One of the coolest parts of it is that it really transitions 4 or 5 times from different stud amounts. So right here we've got four bricks wide for the meat of the weapon, and then from there we're transitioning to 3 studs wide on the handle, and then we actually transition right from there to 2 studs wide for the cover on the blaster trigger. And then of course the trigger actually pulls as well, and it's got a really nice feel to it because Lewis has used a 2x2, I'm not sure the technical name for it, but it's a rubber 2x2 Technic axle hole piece, and it's just pushing against a brick behind there, and that's what gives it that feel.
A lot of big brain stuff in that tiny little gun.
And it's something interesting too, so as I was working on this stand for the DC-17, originally the entire stand was completely black, and you'll notice there's some dark gray highlights now. Well, I had sent it to some friends because I always like to get some feedback before I finalize a model, and a lot of them actually thought that this was a sewing machine.
Yes, I could see that if it was all black, yeah.
Right, and so that would be why we transitioned to some dark bluish gray.
Okay. Could we back up the camera and actually, do you mind holding that up to like your head just to see?
Yes, so this is all life size. This is how it would appear in the show. And this is actually a redesign of Captain Rex. So we originally designed one back when we were working on 332nd, which we talked about earlier. And for this one, we added a lot of interesting details like the tick marks that he uses to count his droid kills.
I love how you did that out of brick. Like you decided not to do a graphic or a sticker or anything. You did it out of brick. I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun to work on this one. Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters from Clone Wars, so we had to do it justice. So we completely redesigned this one really from the ground up. Another thing we added here is the antenna. It's very accurate if you'll see it from the show. It's quite like this. The only thing is, this was actually unintentional, but you can tilt it down to go over his eyes, just like he does in the show. Which was, again, it was an accident. It also hangs a little bit too low.
Keeping with the Disney theme, but moving away from Star Wars and on to, we gotta back up for this one. Can I test if I'm worthy?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I worthy? Oh, I'm worthy. I mean, this is solid. This is solid. How did you do that? Is it magic? Is Asgardian magic? Is that how you made this?
So it is exactly Asgardian magic, and I can show you some of the Asgardian magic. So we actually glued this one as well. It was primarily designed by Dave Holder. We worked together on this one, and so all of the internals are absolutely brilliant. Dave is an engineer, and he absolutely crushed it. So it's actually got a post running all the way from top to bottom of the handle, all the way up to the top here. And I'll show you in just a minute, but actually let me just pull it apart right now. So there's a Technic structure that's holding the handle to all the other parts.
You can come in and look at this.
So there's that Technic structure that's locking all this together from the hammer itself. And then as this runs up the handle, again, this is glued so I can't show you this part, but as it runs up the handle, it's using snot bricks as well as brackets. And the brackets run along one side, the snot bricks will run along the other two sides, and it's all plated together to give it that rigid strength that we were looking for this hammer.
Nice. Oh, that looks so good.
And a handy feature, you can only lift it if you're worthy. Don't ask us how we did it.
So moving from Mjolnir to Cap Shield.
Yeah. So here he is. It is life-sized. It's accurate to the MCU prop. So the comic shield is actually significantly larger than the prop in the MCU. So this one, let's see, I'm trying to remember how, I think it's about 2 feet wide. This thing is absolutely solid. You can see, you can really...
And this is not glued, right?
Right.
This is all plates.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely brilliant design. So there's...
Bring it in, Mr. Cameraman. Look, now this is the only non-Lego in this thing, or is the straps, and this really is holding on just by its own weight and the clutch power of the bricks. That's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So this one was designed primarily by Dave as well. He absolutely knocked it out of the park with the functionality of this thing. You can hold it, you can swing this thing around. Man, when the public was here, I was throwing punches and everything. It is so fun to wield.
You didn't bounce it off a wall though, did you?
Not yet.
Can we do that on camp? No, I won't make you do that. Now, you said there is a mechanism to actually hang it?
Yes, so on the back here, this isn't actually, I should let you know that this is not the version on the website just yet, but there is a hanger that I've designed just because when I have this thing hanging up in my room, I want to put this on the wall, and so I've got this hanger that can hold its own weight right here. And I do want to put this out there for everyone to be able to build, so that's hopefully coming soon.
Okay, so this is currently, as of the recording of this video, is not on the website, but It will be soon.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool! Oh man, that looks awesome.
On the website as well, we have links to the straps that we're using right here because they're really handy, really sturdy. And then we also have a guitar stand that we found that works really well with this shield. So all the links to that, if you decide to build this for yourself, all the links are available to you. And yeah, they're really, really great. Fits right in like that. And actually the stand is adjustable as well. So if you want to display it at this angle, you can. And you can also lean it back if you want to get a more, I know some of the props that they sell on other websites will do an angle similar to this. So it's all open wide to you.
Nice. What do you want to show us next?
Yeah, so let's move on to our Pokemon. So these are some of our most popular models. We've got Pikachu and Evee, absolutely beautiful design by Dave Holder. And something that I really love about his design process is he'll really spend the time to tweak things like the eyes and the mouth and all the things that really stand out when you're looking at it from afar. And they really do stand out, especially as I'm looking at Evee. That is the cutest face I've ever seen.
It really is. It looks like you grabbed into the screen of the video game and just pulled it out of the screen. That's what amazes me so much about that.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Yeah, he is an absolutely phenomenal designer. And this thing, as with a lot of the other models, is completely hollow on the inside. It's got efficient parts usage where needed to give it all the structural stability it needs. But this one isn't glued. Brian Saviano actually brought this one for us. We have a duplicate here as well. Our duplicate is glued, but the one that you're seeing on the video is not. And so now he's showing off Pikachu. So Pikachu again, same design, same designer. Absolutely phenomenal. Again, completely hollow on the inside. We're using the most efficient parts we can. It's interesting though, we've actually sold so many Pikachus that we've dried up the third-party market of the 1x4 yellow bricks.
Really?
On BrickLink, yes. So you can get them actually still from Pick-a-Brick. But unfortunately, if you're looking to order your entire thing through BrickLink, you're going to have some real trouble. There's about, I believe, 400 to 600 1x4 yellow bricks in this model, and the highest quantity you can get from a US seller right now is about 100.
Wow, okay, because of you guys and because of the popularity of Pikachu, amazing. How tall is Pikachu, would you guess?
Ooh, that is a good question, and I'm terrible at estimating things like this, but I would roughly estimate just under 2 feet.
Yeah, that's a big Pikachu. And speaking of big boys, let's go to the big boy in the room. Look at this thing. This is amazing. Please tell us about a Mario.
Absolutely. So this one actually went through a lot of design iterations. We spent about a month designing this thing. Again, Dave was an integral part of the design process here. He has his own design process he goes through for models that he actually designs for Lego Masters Australia. And he used a lot of those same techniques here. He's got some really nice brick detailing all the way through the model. And similar to Darth Vader, we've got the plate detailing where we need it, especially near Mario's face, near his eyes, and where his nose, and then the brim of his cap as well is all built with plates as opposed to the bricks, which is the majority of the rest of the model. And then, of course, for some of the standout details, again, his eyes, the M on his cap, his mustache, we'll go in there and use some interesting creative parts to get that the feel that we were looking for those parts.
Do you use an actual picture to get the ratio and the proportions, or how do you start?
That's a good question. It actually varies quite a bit. I believe for this one we were referencing a 3D model and potentially some reference images online, but a lot of them were actually either we're commissioning a 3D model from a talented artist online, or we're just finding some reference images or reference models online and we're running them through software as a reference. I believe for Mario there was a reference model that was created through software, and then this thing was built brick by brick from the ground up.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for spending this time with us and showing us your amazing models. I want to know though, can you tell us what's coming down the pipe? Is there any secrets you're allowed to reveal or tease us with?
As of recording this video, this isn't out, but hopefully by the time the video comes out, we will have released Bad Batch models from the Clone Wars spin-off show. Absolutely phenomenal show, and we wanted to capture those the best that we could. So we've got, I believe, I don't want to commit us to anything, I believe there will be 2 helmets that are out by this point. So if you don't see 2 helmets, message us, we'll explain what happened, but at this point that's what our plan is.
Well, thank you so much, and we will see you around. Rest up for another day of heavy conventioning, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
I've got a ton more BrickFair Virginia stuff to show you guys, so stay tuned.